trying to buy calls near the 21 period moving average or the 8 if it's strong. Okay. And then generally what I'm doing is I'm looking for a move to the 1272 extension. Now you'll notice here that what Adobe did instead is it came up and made a little bitty new high and then abruptly puked. Okay. Now what that means is if you bought it here and your target's here and your stop loss is down here, you went from having a nice profit to a full loss. Okay. And that sucks on a couple of different levels. First of all, keep in mind what you're managing is your net liquidating value. And when you go from, say, $1,000 profit to a $2,500 loss, okay, you didn't lose $2,500. Your net liquidating value changed by $3,500. Okay, it is so critical that if you have gains, that you are able to keep those gains because the impact of the net liquidating value, if you go from having a gain going all the way to a stop, all right, you didn't lose $2,500, you lost $3,500. So that's the thing to kind of keep in mind. So you want to prevent that. It's like, man, had I known that in advance, I would have taken my profits much sooner. Okay. Now here's another example looking at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has a squeeze, okay, and this is a lovely stock to trade. And you can see here, it doesn't really get that close. It gets about 10 points away from its 1272 extension and pukes it up. Man, had I known that in advance. But if we look at Alibaba and you got a squeeze, in this case, yeah, we rocked that 1272 extension and we rocked that 1618 extension. Here in this case, had I been a nervous Nelly and taken my profits right away, I would have left a lot of money on the table. So with these three examples, I just want to know, is there a way for me to know in advance the odds of where this thing is going to peter out? Okay. So the question here is, what if you knew in advance the likelihood of your stock hitting the proposed default static target, like the 1272 extension, okay, or whatever resistance or support you're watching? But also, what if you knew in advance the likelihood your stock exceeding that proposed target, okay, or your stock failing to even get near the target? So suddenly this becomes an entire different ball game because it means how much money you could put in your pocket and keep in your pocket. All right. And here's the biggest thing is it gives you confidence. Okay. So if you get a stock that barely makes new highs and pukes, that kills your confidence. But if you knew in advance that that was actually highly likely to happen, it's going to make you feel good and be able to manage your money a lot better. But if you also knew, on the other hand, that if it was going to poke up through new highs and race up to the 1618 extension, that's going to give you confidence to hold on through the wiggles. All right. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of being able to manage something like that. Okay. So what I want to talk about here are what's called the profit zones, the dynamic profit zones. So you'll notice right here that we did get a squeeze and we came up and we just kind of petered out right at these dotted lines. Okay. And when we hit those dotted lines, we petered out and we rolled back over. It's like, okay, great. Well, what are, I'll talk about what those dotted lines are in here in a second. But then to show you the NVIDIA example, you can see it's like, okay, here's the 1272 extension, but we pop into those dotted lines and look what happens. Okay, that is the 21 period moving average. Now, the 21 EMA. Now, if you guys aren't aware of this, that 21 period EMA is what I call the mean. And the markets always revert back to the mean at some point, okay? In a quiet market without a squeeze, what happens is we come up to the profit zones, kiss it goodbye, and revert back to the mean. We come up to the profit zones, kiss it goodbye, revert back to the mean. Come up to the profit zones, kiss it goodbye, revert back to the mean. And then same thing, if we dip below it, we revert back to the mean. So this is a huge concept to understand. And it's just understanding that what happens is when we get into these zones, the likelihood of it reverting back to the mean versus continuing on to its target has increased exponentially. Okay, and I'm going to say that one more time. If you get into these zones, the likelihood of it going back to its mean versus going to its target increases exponentially. That's some good information to know. So now, if we come back and we look at Alibaba, what happened on this particular trade is we did have a squeeze, but guess what? the profit zones were already up in this area. So that gave us confidence that we could hold on to that position. So that's what I was talking about there. And that's the kind of stuff that I like there. So these are some screenshots from 3 weeks ago. Okay. Now Costco had kind of a crazy move, but here's a squeeze. Here's profit zones. Okay. The stock's at, $197 and the profit zones were at 207. Now I know I think it was like some earnings or something came out on it. So it had some really kind of crazy moves, and I don't really hold through earnings. But what you'll notice here is that ultimately what happened is that even through all that, Costco slammed into its profit zones. Okay, so those profit zones, and here's the squeeze. So the profit zones just give you confidence. It's like, okay, that this thing could push through all of that trouble and get up there again. And you can see that this is from, a couple weeks ago. Here's the squeeze. Here we are, and it's the profit zones that can give you the confidence to hold through that. Okay. So, and I'll definitely talk about the logic behind it for sure. Now, I showed this a couple of weeks ago, and everybody said, John, you are absolutely freaking crazy. There is no way, okay? There is no way that Amazon is going to hit its profit zones of $1,685, okay? This was back at the beginning of June. Here's a daily squeeze. Here's an RAF. Hey, the profit zones are up here at $1,685. Yeah, John, you're crazy. Okay, so, well, if we go back here, and we look at Amazon, not only did it exceed $1,685, but because of the power of the daily squeeze, it kept on going, and here we are at $1,750. Okay, you got to imagine. So here's the squeeze, right? Look what the squeeze. There's a nice little consolidation. That's what leads to the squeeze. $1,600 to $1,750. You only need one trade like that a quarter to have a fantastic year. Okay. This is the difference between having the confidence to hold on for new all-time highs versus worrying that this thing is going to peter out. All right. So the bottom line here is that is there a way to listen on an iPhone? Yeah, Kernzaid, here's a link for you if you want to check out these indicators. If you just go to simplertrading.com/bundle, and I'll get to that, but that's the link for them. So the bottom line is the stocks do not move the same every time for every setup. Sometimes they have fantastic moves, sometimes they have average moves, and sometimes they just fizzle out. Well, now with these tools, there's no more guessing or hoping for a bigger move. If there's a smaller target, great. Now you know in advance and you can plan accordingly and not make the mistake of watching a winner turn into a full thing loser. The other tool here then is the Deep Stats tool. Now I'm just going to tell you real quick, this tool ain't for everyone. Okay, this is for I can be a data geek. So if you're a data geek or an engineer or into statistics, this is a fun tool. I'll be perfectly honest and say you don't need this. This is just really if you want to dive in. So those profit zone targets that we're looking at are calculated through this tool. Okay, so that's how that works. This tool then breaks it out, but it also gives you additional data. So for example, for Adobe, it says, guess what? The best pullback moving average is the 13-period moving average. So anytime it pulls back there, you buy it. And by the way, guess what? Anytime it crosses the 21-period moving average, it typically moves 4% over the next 9 bars. Okay, so that's good information, and you can see some of that in the profit zones. But if you're a geek and like to really dive into the math here, that's what the deep stats tool is. Okay, so you can see here for Amazon, this is again a couple weeks ago. It's saying essentially, look, if it breaks back above its 8 EMA, on average, it'll move 5.4% or $86.52 over 4 bars. Well, what's happened? It's actually done almost exactly that. Okay, so that's powerful data to have as well. So all these tools are they help to provide an edge on entries, an edge on exits, an edge on understanding normal behavior for the stock, as well as statistical proof. Okay, it also means less mistakes and less errors. And if we can make less mistakes and errors on exits over time, this is going to have a big compounding effect on our account. So if you think of your account over time compounding, right? And I talked earlier about that effect on your net liquidating value, where if you've got a stock that's up $1,000, but then it peters out and you get your full stop out at $2,500, that actually hits your account by $3,500. If in fact you would have known in advance to take that profit, okay, over time, that's the kind of stuff that has an exponential effect on your account. Even if you're doing really good, mistakes just essentially keep your gains, pressed down. And so that's something that over time is very useful. So it's continuous improvement. That's what it's about. We got to have an edge, and anything that gives us an edge is going to compound our gains over time. So we've got some early adopters that have been using this, and here's the feedback that they have. And we've actually gotten a ton of great feedback on these because they're just super powerful. It's like, one is, hey, these are game changers. They complement the other awesome indicators I use, and I'm now getting consistent profits, and I'm able to have my trades positive for this year finally. And then the other one is, look, hey, don't share this with too many people, please. This is the most powerful thing I think you guys have built aside from the Voodoo lines. So some very good feedback. So what we're doing here tonight is that if you guys are interested in these tools, I think it's a fairly reasonable investment for the potential ROI that you're going to get almost immediately on your results. Here's what we have. So if you go to, and you have to type it in, if you go to simplertrading.com/bundle, that'll take you to a page where you can see this choice. So there's 3 bundles here. There's dynamic, there's explosive, all right? And I think for explosive, there are some things that'll help take care of that at the drugstore, and also strategic. So for the dynamic bundle, which is just $497, you actually get the multi-cross indicator. Okay, remember, that's all of the 18 time frames for the moving average crosses, plus the dynamic profit zones to tell you where it's going to go. If you are a gold member, that is just $397. I'll give you a quick hack. If you're not a member, and even if you don't even want to be a member, you can click here, sign up for a $7 trial, and save the $100. Okay, the explosive bundle, and no, that is not for irritable bowel syndrome, but the explosive bundle, which comes with the squeeze, which actually is explosive, you can get the multi-cross indicator, the dynamic profit zones, which we've talked about, and then that multi-squeeze indicator that sits below the multi-cross so that you can see that the multi-crosses and the squeezes on every time frame. I can tell you right now that those 2 things together are the most powerful thing that I've ever come across in doing this, and I will not look at a chart without them. So that's been my experience with it. So with this, again, if you're a non-member, it's just $697, which I think is incredibly reasonable in terms of the ROI, the immediate ROI impact you can get on this. If you're a member, just log in and you can
Looks like John might have had a brief issue there. I can look over, his computer hasn't blue screened or anything, so I bet you he'll be back on in just a moment. Yeah, you can hear me. I don't know what that was. That to me looked like some sort of a hard Chrome crash or something really weird. There we go. He's back on, so I'll get out of the way. Sorry,
that was
JC.
interesting. Can you guys hear me okay? Is that UFO that came by? Okay. So I don't. What was the last thing I said? Something about was that when I was talking about Blue Cross Blue Shield and the benefits? Okay. So okay. So I got to the irritable bowel syndrome relief, and then so the strategic bundle. All that is, the only difference there is that also comes with that deep stats tool, which again, most of you don't need it. But if you really like to geek out and get into the stats, that deep stats tool is very powerful. Also, all of these come with a full live trading session. So yeah, it's been great that I've been able to show you some of the results here on PowerPoint, right? Well, anybody can go and find results on PowerPoint. What I like to do is go do a live trading session so you can see these indicators in action. And what we'll do that day is we're going to set up swing trades with options. We'll set up some day trades with options and futures so you can just practice with it and you can answer questions. And so that live trading session comes with any one of these bundles. Okay. Okay. So let's dive in here and see what questions you guys have. I'll show you a couple of extra things here. Again, if you want that hack, just click on if you're not a member, just click on become a member. Again, it's $7. I just say, hey, milk us for 30 days and then cancel. If for some reason you like it, it's actually a great membership. You get text alerts to your phone in terms of new trades that we're taking. You get there's all kinds of cool things. Okay, so that's that. And then, so why do the live trading day? So guess what? The live trading day comes with this. So if you do purchase any one of those bundles, then you will get the live trading included. So the live trading, we're going to be talking about, look, what are specific setups when to buy calls or buy the stock or buy the futures, okay? Or buy puts, right? If there's some short trades, we'll do that too. When to hedge, when to instead do a debit or credit spread, when to use a neutral strategy, how to time trades against levels, how to manage trades, okay? Best time frames and all that kind of stuff. And we'll have plenty of time for questions as well. John, if we have already bought the multi-time frame crossover, can we get the single dynamic target for 197? Okay, that's a good question. I don't know. Let's look here. So let me go through this and I'll find out for you. So the 497 bundle includes, again, the multi-cross indicator, and you can see that's the one on the top here, and then the profit zones indicator, and that's that line, and a live trading session. That's my office and what it looks like and all that kind of fun stuff. And so that's where I do all my classes. And then the explosive bundle for I can't get that out of my mind, for your irritable bowel syndrome, includes the multi-cross indicator, the dynamic profit zones indicator, but it also includes the multi-squeeze indicator. And I got to tell you, this combination of the multi-squeeze and the multi-cross, for me, I cannot look at a chart without it. And then the bonus is just these profit zones. All right. And of course, that still has the live trading session. And okay, so that's that. So yeah, now I think if you go to the sales page, and I will bring it up real quick, I think you can buy these a la carte if you want. You don't have to buy the bundle, and I think the pricing is different. But if you go to the sales page, it'll tell you that. And then, by the way, I believe that once you get any of the packages, a couple people have asked about the 10x bars. All right, so if you go here and just scroll down, of course, there's tons of information here. You can read more about it and all that kind of stuff, right? If you go and you buy these and add it to the cart and you choose your platform and all that kind of stuff, when you go to the thank you page, there will be the opportunity actually to get my other two favorite indicators, the 10x bars and the RAF indicator, at a discount. And there'll be I think it's a coupon code or something like that you'll get. But just so you know that I believe that with any of these bundles, once you get it on the thank you page, you'll have the opportunity to also get the 10x bars and the RAF if you want. And just as a reminder, those 10x bars, so the 10x bars are right here, and there's the ones that they turn green when the momentum shifts, and if there's dots, that just means that there's an increase in volume. It's super powerful. This is the trade where I made the $38,000 on Amazon with a combination of these and then watching those 10x bars. And of course, you can see the little 5-minute squeeze here is what caused it all to start. So they all work together really, really, really well is what happens at the end of the day. Let's see. That is a good question. When is the live trading? If somebody knows. Or are we still looking at that? Oh, and I just need to forward the. All right, so we got that. And you guys don't need that. And I just lost, oh, there we go. All right, so what questions do you guys have? So again, for me, at the end of the day, this is just about making your trading life easier. And okay, that is not. I've got multiple windows open here, so I'm just trying to see where this went. Oh, there it is. Whew. Okay, so what if you bought all this already and would be interested in participating in the live trading again? So I believe for the live trading, there would be there's a price for that, and it is available separately on the page. And I will, let me see if I can find that real quick. And the live trading, the goal of the live trading class is we actually make enough money during the day to pay for the class if you're trading a one lot. So that's kind of the, obviously it's, I don't know exactly what's going to happen that day in the markets, but, with the tools, you can kind of adjust to what's happening and place trades to do that. So if you go down and just kind of scroll down, I do think that there is an area that'll talk about that. Bonus live trading session. Yeah, so if you're a member, it's just $197 if you just want to do it for the day. So you can go through a la carte and just look at, if none of the bundles make sense, if you want to go and look a la carte, it's right down there. Yep, and so Central Time, so market hours, so market hours, the cash session is essentially 8:30 to 3 Central Time, and that's when we do the live trading. Clay and ATX, I'm using TradeStation 9.5. I have not upgraded to 10. Yeah, me too. I'm on 9.5. Is the butt crack of dawn. Jonathan, where are you? Are you on the West Coast? I mean, that is early. So the 10X does not show on checkout. So no, I believe, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe what'll happen is after you make the purchase, you're going to get to a thank you page, and then the thank you page will show you the 10X bars and the RAF. If that is incorrect, someone let me know, but that is how I understand that is working. If we took the class and have the indicators, can we come to the live class? You can, but it is if you just scroll down, you can do the member discounted price on that. So it's just, I believe, just $197 as a member to do that. And yeah, and is that, let's see, the live trading. Let's see. If we already have the indicators, can we sign up for the live trading? Yep. So to sign up for the live trading, all you got to do is just go down. And if you have any problems with this, just